touch a Ducati. Alright. Sits on a Ducati. Oh, now that's comfy. Photograph a Ducati. Natural supermodel. Start a Ducati. That's an Italian accent. Ride a Ducati. Let's go. I guess that just leaves high-fiving Valentino Rossi, and then my life is done. This is the Ducati Multistrada 1260S that, as usual, thanks to Bike SA magazine, I get to spend a romantic day with. This probably isn't the bike you picture when you hear the name Ducati, but as you can probably guess by my excitement, it is indeed the first Ducati I have ever ridden. Although I have a soft spot for Japanese motorcycles, as you all well know, specifically the one that has a piano fetish, my ears definitely do prick up when I hear a Ducati ride past, and I usually have to wipe away a spot of drool afterwards. There's no denying that they are in their own illustrious club that we'd all like to experience, even if it is just for a day. Delightful noises, knee-buckling good looks, and often excessive power only build on the admiration. But does the Multistrada have the Ducati features necessary to fulfill all your Ducati desires? I don't know, but let's find out. Yes, the theme of this video has more to do with lists than it does Ducatis, because I've put together yet another list, but this one has less to do with buckets and my death, and more to do with what I believe the hallmarks are to create a bike that deserves to be in the Ducati club. It's called the Ducati Desires list. A Ducati must always be red. It seems like a simple criterion to fill, and it seems it does fill it. So I guess we can move on then. A Ducati must always have an exotic Italian name like Panigale or Diavel. Personally, I think Multistrada ticks the box perfectly, even though I do often forget the name, often mixing Hypermotard with Multistrada to create the Hyperstrada or Multimotard. But that is definitely not Ducati's fault. A Ducati must absolutely have a 90-degree V-twin, or L-twin as Ducati call it. Thankfully, it ticks that box. I would have made an exception for a V4 because of the Panigale V4, but the twin gets extra points. A Ducati must be at the cutting edge of technology. And that it easily achieves with this 5.5-inch TFT display. It's easier to navigate than your phone, and it's probably more entertaining as well. There are riding modes for your every mood swing, from sport, touring, urban, enduro, and my personal favorite, exit. It's got very clever active electronic suspension, which might sound a bit gimmicky, but when you decide to pick up a passenger or to fill your panniers with very heavy luggage, and it can just adjust all your suspension settings on the fly, you'll be pretty thankful. There's no need to take along your favorite screwdriver or to ask your passenger to lose weight. It's got a gorgeous key that simply needs to be near the bike to switch on. All you do is press here to switch the ignition on, and that's it. Just don't lose the key mid-ride. And the fix for all your sporty desires is this quick shifter. They're common these days, I know, but this one takes it to a new level because it not only handles the dirty work on the way up, but on the way down through the gears as well. It even throws in a cheeky auto blip for you. Now, I'm not a fan of somebody blipping for me, but I appreciate the technology. The technology within the Multistrada is what allows it to be so many bikes in one, and actually good versions at that. The electronic suspension allows it to be a stiff, sporty bike when the mood strikes, but to be lush when the mature touring side of you comes knocking. And when the miles seem to be dragging on, there are endless options to play around with, like cruise control, heated grips, and even the manual adjustable screen that lacks the technology but has added entertainment to make up for it. A Ducati must have a bizarre displacement, like 916, 1098 or 848. I would consider 1260 to be a pretty bizarre number and keeps Ducati's naming history intact. In fact, the official displacement of this engine is a 1262, which seems more like the name that Ducati would have gone for. When I was a child, Ducati's naming system used to confuse me, but now I think it's one of the coolest things that Ducati have done. A Ducati must look sexy, Italian, seductive, and overall purely devilish. I don't think it's an easy job to try and make a multi-purpose motorcycle look sexy. That's more of a sport bikes type of thing to go for, and a lot of manufacturers don't even seem to try because they know it's probably impossible. But that didn't stop Ducati, and you know what? I think they did it. It does have some seriously good looking angles. Some that are sporty and devilish. Some that make it look like a rugged bike that can handle anything you throw at it. Somehow it manages to make its beak and comically large nostrils look sophisticated. I think it must be its European roots. The seats are covered in two different beautiful fabrics and joined with this gorgeous red stitching. Now, stitching is something I wish we'd see on motorcycles a lot more. Its beautifully shaped taillight can compete with the V4 Panigale in my opinion, and let's just say if it was my bike, the rear end would be very over photographed. These turn signals in the handguards are a sport adventure bike's take on the in-mirror turn signals that sport bikes often take advantage of. A Ducati must always have Pirellis, simply because Italiano. Check, national pride still intact. A Ducati must always bear Brembos. They just have to. Check, dazzling calipers front and back. A Ducati must have a single-sided swing arm. I just can't seem to trip this bike up. Again, it comes through and has a single-sided swing arm. Of course, not all Multistrada models do, but this one has it, and that's good enough for me. I think it's safe to say that a Multistrada can easily fulfill all your Ducati desires. It's everything I imagined it would be and doesn't disappoint. If you're lucky enough to get one with the obligatory Termagoni, it also makes absolutely insane noises when upshifting with the quick shifter and keeping it pinned. This is why the V-twin will always get extra points. So, if riding one of these isn't on your bucket list, I think you should update it right now.